Okay, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be doing the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday, just like he has for the past few seasons. This week, Rodgers said that some players on the team need to grow up a little bit. Robert Saleh, at his Wednesday press conference, was asked about Rodgers' remarks. Here's what Saleh had to say.
I've said it with Aaron. He's as much of a coach as he is a player, and he's been around youth and he's been around adversity, and he's seen it all. And so for him to recognize that and talk through it, I think he's not wrong, and that we've when you have frustration, it's easy to kind of look for answers when sometimes the most important answer is inward. And that's the only way you can defeat adversity, is to look inward and find ways to be your personal best. So, as it pertains to what he said, he's not wrong, but at the same time, it's just a bunch of young guys showing a little bit of frustration, so they'll be all right.
Yeah, and look, it will be helpful to have Aaron Rodgers back in the building, and he dropped that hint on Tuesday that he may be at the game, which would make him only the second most famous person not playing in the game to be at the game. But they need him back there. They need him to be around. They need him to influence Zach Wilson. They just need to have someone that can say things and the players will listen because they're in awe of him. They're still in awe of Aaron Rodgers. So the sooner he's back and the sooner he's influencing them the right way, saying the kinds of things he was saying on Tuesday, if he's saying those things directly in the locker room, it's going to help just stabilize things. It doesn't mean things are suddenly going to be better during the games, but you avoid this sense of the sky is constantly falling. The fans are that way, which is just mind-boggling, because what did you expect when the guy that made you a Super Bowl contender is gone after only 4 plays of one game? But I think the players need to get away from that, and maybe the fans get away from it too. Maybe they need to use Rodgers more as an emissary. Maybe instead of having Robert Saleh be the one to stand up and take the heat for Zach Wilson, maybe Rodgers needs to support Zach Wilson more and say, he's under pressure a lot. You don't want to throw the offensive line under the bus, but maybe it's more persuasive to the fans if they hear it from Rodgers. I mean, if they're going to listen to Joe Namath piss and moan about Zach Wilson, why not counter that with Aaron Rodgers boosting Zach Wilson up, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, yes, they certainly could use him there. Some veteran leadership, a guy that, can certainly talk some sense into guys, calm them down, add a little fear in the locker room, right? I mean, that's where they can use him more than anything. Yes, certainly he can answer some things about, the team itself, maybe to the media, and calm down some of the talk that is like a lot of nonsense from people who really don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they've been given a microphone and they make these grandiose comments and they're clueless. Yeah, it's like that's where he can add, 2 cents. But the heart of the problem is still goes back to the same thing we talked about last year. The Jets have all these talented guys. They got a lot of renegades. We like that. They're physical. They fly around. But like the sideline, the locker room, the State of the Union addresses by some of the young guys where you go, you haven't done jack diddly squat in the league, and you're talking like you should be the focal point of the offense, and you're telling the organization how things should be done. And that's where things have gone crazy with the Jets a little bit. And that goes back to Robert Saleh. That's something where he has got to stop. He's got to stop and make a point or something here of stopping guys from having outbursts on the sidelines, outbursts with the media after the game, outbursts with the social media after the game. That all adds to this, now let Johnny Jet fans spout off and have more to say. And it just adds to this whole thing of dysfunction here. And that's where, the Jets themselves and Rodgers can help this, needs to get in there and help this situation out a little bit. But I mean, look, it ain't cool there. Michael Carter going crazy on the coach. Garrett Wilson standing there kind of laughing at it. Look at him right there. He laughs at what he says, right? That don't go down in the top organizations in football. That doesn't go down that way. And that's not a good look for the Jets at all. And that's where they gotta stop this crap, because it just adds to the soap opera of the moment here.
I think part of the problem is there's so much focus, so much intensity, so much vitriol from the fans. You get Joe Namath chiming in. It just creates this avalanche that the players can't avoid. They get caught up in it too. That's why maybe having Aaron Rodgers back, saying these things directly, having his presence on the sideline, in the meeting rooms, in the locker room, on the practice field, to just kind of get everything to settle down. That's the best they can hope for. And they knew there was a risk he was going to get injured. Nobody expected it to happen four plays into the season. Nobody expected to be season-ending injury. And the fact that it might not be, again, that's a factor in what you ultimately do, because whatever quarterback you find to try to save you complicates the potential return of Aaron Rodgers when he's ready to come back, and he's made it clear that he may be ready to come back. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.